The next name is actually the name a lot of you guys think is my daughter's name. So many have messaged me and was like, is your daughter's name? So this is actually the future nursery when we move things out. Things are gonna be rearranged and stuff, and I do have to get rid of this bed. But yeah, hello guys. Welcome back to my channel. I thought we would start this video with a little bump style, bump outfit. You guys are always asking me, you know, how do you dress the bump? And so far, mine's just kind of come in, and you can only really see it when I'm wearing tight clothes. So yeah, I've been wearing tight dresses so that you can see it. But yeah, this is just a dress that I've had before pregnancy, and this is probably the last time I'm ever wearing it because my boobs grew massive and I could barely get it zipped up. So yeah, we got the outfit update. Now let's talk about baby names. And what's funny is I used to watch these videos even before I was pregnant just because I think it's just something people think about. I have so many friends, males, females, everyone that's always like, yeah, I always think about like baby names and this and that. I just think it's one of those things that even if you're not pregnant, these are fun videos to watch. So grab a snack. I'm eating this granola bare naked, and the flavor is fruit and nut, almond, raisins, pecans, and cranberries. Just delicious. I'm saving a few. Obviously, if we have a second kid, I won't know if it's a boy or a girl, so I am saving a few girl names and a few boy names for first and middle. So those obviously aren't on the list. There's a few more that we really like. But for me and my husband, it was really easy coming up with names. If you're new to my channel, I'm actually having a little girl. We recently found out, and I'm currently 18 weeks pregnant. I came up with this name. I didn't make it up or anything. It's a name you've heard before. All of the names I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard before. None of them are like crazy unique, but they're definitely earthy. I mean, look at me. Like, those are the names I like. I like earthy names, pretty names, but we didn't make any of them up. But the name that I did choose, I decided when I was like 6 or 7. I used to have all these little fairies. I'm still obsessed with fairies, and I used to always name them this name. So when I met my husband, I remember telling him that, like when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and I remember being like, before we were living together, and I remember I said it, and he was like, that is a beautiful name, and he loved it. So we kind of knew we were gonna name our daughter this. But boy names, we've changed so many times. We'll start with our bonus names first, the 2 names that I named my dogs. When I hear little kids with these names, I'm like, oh, and I think of my dogs, and they're just the cutest names ever. So the first is Wyatt. I love the name Wyatt. I love that name for boy or girl. I just think it's the cutest name, and if I didn't name my Shih Tzu Wyatt, I would name my little boy or little girl Wyatt. And then Harpy. So I love the name Harper. I actually fell in love with the name after watching Wizards of Waverly Place. Selena Gomez's friend was just like cute and funny. I was like, you know what, I love that name. So first we'll start with earthy girl names that I love. So the first is Poppy. I love the name Poppy. I've liked that name since I was a kid. We actually called my grandpa Pop, and when we were little we called him Poppy. So for a while, like, I just associated that name with my grandpa, like Poppy. And then I don't remember where we were, I think a mall or somewhere, and I heard a little girl's name Poppy, and I was like, oh, I heard it and I was like, I love that name. So it's obviously an earthy name. It's pretty, and I hope that my little girl loves the movie Trolls and is obsessed with Princess Poppy. Like, I'm gonna make her watch Trolls. I also thought that this would be a really cute middle name for our daughter. I think it would go perfectly, but my husband's not into the name Poppy. This was one of the names he was like, not into. So I actually like our daughter's name better, but this was like a second runner-up. I was like, if we have 2 girls, I would love to name her one this and one Poppy, and he was just like not feeling it. The next little girl name that I love is Olive. I think that is the cutest name ever. Obviously another earthy name. They're all pretty earthy. I just think Olive, it's trendy, it's cute. I don't know, I think it kind of goes with our vibe, especially doing a gender neutral nursery. I don't know, I just love the name Olive. I hope that I have an opportunity to name a middle name Olive maybe, or I don't know, maybe one of my daughter's dolls will name Olive. But yeah, I just think that that's such a cute name. The third girl name that I love is Aurora. I just think it's a beautiful name, obviously like Princess Aurora, and it just has something fairy and yeah, I guess princess vibes, earthy vibes. I just picture her with flowers in her hair and we're like, Aurora, come in, it's dinner. I don't know, that's weird. Is that weird? I don't know. But I think it's a beautiful name. I think I like names like that that are maybe a little bit old school that you haven't heard in a while and we're bringing it back. My husband loves the name Sophia. And I think that that's kind of like an old school name that has been brought back. I just think that Sophia has been used so many times. I know so many moms that have named their daughter Sophia. So that was a no for me that he loved. And I do love the name, but I like our little girl's name better. The next name is actually the name a lot of you guys think is my daughter's name. So many have messaged me and was like, is your daughter's name? And it's this name, which is Luna. And I could so see me having a baby with the name Luna. You guys actually gave me the idea a while back. Somebody messaged me and was like, if you ever, like, it was around the time when me and Jared were talking about wanting to start a family, but I wasn't pregnant yet. And I remember somebody saying, you're totally gonna have a daughter named Luna. And although I'm not choosing that name, and it's not a middle name either, I do really like the name. I just think it's a cool girl name. The next name that I love is Ruby, and my husband also liked this name. It's just a pretty name. It reminds me of my crystals. I'm obsessed with crystals and rocks and all sorts of gems and stuff, and I think Ruby would be perfect. I really don't know why we're not using this as a middle name. I don't know why I'm telling you guys that name, because I actually really like the name Ruby. It wouldn't be if we had a second child and it was a girl. I don't think that would be her first name, but definitely a middle name. If you need an idea, I feel like Ruby is such a cute name and it's pretty, and I feel like you can call her Rubes. We always kind of think like, well, what would their nickname be? I think that Rubes would be cute. And then the last girl name is June. Just simple, a name you've heard before, but it's kind of like a throwback. I don't know anybody with the name June, and actually my daughter's name too. It's a name that you've heard before, but I personally don't know anybody with that name. Even in high school, there was nobody with that name. Growing up, like, I literally never met anybody with that name. And the same thing with June. I think that's the other thing when you're coming up with names. You're like, do I know somebody with that? Because you can have a really cute, beautiful name, but if you know somebody with that name, it could kind of change it for you. But yeah, I really like the name June. I like it as a middle name as well. So if you're looking for middle names, maybe June would be perfect. Okay, so boy names. The first boy name that I love is Bodhi, and that can actually be a girl's name as well. And that's like, when you think of boho names, the first thing that comes to mind is probably Bodhi. I feel like there's so many celebrities that have named their kids that, boy, girl. I personally like it for a boy name. I don't know, I just think it's super cute. My husband wasn't feeling it. He was like, no. So it's not gonna be our future son's name, but maybe a middle name, I don't know. The next name that I love is Milo, but again, I do feel like this one it's like Sophia. They're throwback names that have been used so much recently. We both actually really like the name, but we don't love the name. So for me, I wanted to put it on this list because I think it's a really adorable name. Kind of reminds me of Mason. They're like really cute names, but they're not names that I would necessarily choose. The next name is one that we were definitely gonna name our future son. So back in the day when I was telling you we came up with our daughter's name, we came up with our son's name too. And then I don't know what happened. I guess over the years we started to just fall out of love with this name, and I think that that can happen too. One of my subscribers actually reached out to me and said that they came up with the name in the beginning of the pregnancy, and then towards the end, by the time she was about to be born, they no longer liked the name and changed it. And I think that that's what happened with this. Although me and Jared liked this name for a solid like 6 years. And that is the name Skylar. I love it because it has the earthy aspect. I feel like we can call him Sky, and I just picture him in like a denim jacket, and I don't know. Like, it's another name that's been really popular, and yeah, I just kind of fell out of love with it. And I remember I said it to my mom and she didn't love it, and that's, I don't know, it's hard when you get parents involved. I'm gonna share a name that we got parents involved and they changed the whole name for us. The next name is Finn, and it's short for Phineas, but I don't know if we would ever name him Phineas. I think just Finn, and it's actually from one of my favorite books, A Separate Piece. One of the guys' names was Phineas, but they always called him Finn, and I just love the name. I remember we read that in 8th grade, and I was just like, oh, I love that name. Like, someday I want to name a son that. I shared it with Jared, and Jared got the no. And then the last name that we actually really loved, and there's a whole background story to this. 4 years ago, we moved to LA and we drove across the country. And once we got here, we had nothing. We'd take Wyatt and we would take him on walks and drives. And I remember we ended up on this one road in Beverly Hills called Camden. And we were like, wow, this is a stunning road. Like, everything was perfect. The trees were perfect. Everything was so nice. We're like, what road is this? And it was Camden. And we just kind of looked at each other and had like this weird, like, I know what you're thinking, you know what I'm thinking. And I said it and he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, we need to name our future son Camden. Like, such a cute name. And we can call him Cam or Cammy. And now years later, I realized that Kristen Cavallari actually used that name on her son. And it is just the cutest name ever. If you're looking for a boy name, go with Camden. I feel like it's a really cute name. My family though is from the East Coast and they like totally changed the name for us. And for them, they think of a different Camden. Let that be a lesson to you guys that are coming up with names. Don't involve your family. I think it's kind of fun to have something special with you and your partner, and especially for my little girl's name. I knew I wanted to name her this since I was a kid, but I didn't look for anybody's approval. Once I knew it was a girl and we were certain on that, I was like, this is her name. And I started calling her that right away. And I didn't even wait for anybody's reaction. I obviously knew my husband loved the name, but that was that. The other thing I want to say before we go is the mommy necklace is back in stock on my Etsy site. These go super fast. I didn't know how many people were gonna want a mommy necklace. I'm so glad you guys love them. And now, at first it just came in gold. Now it comes in rose gold and silver, and that was your guys' request. So I'm just so happy. I love having things that you guys love. So they're also a great gift, and that's what I've learned. So many of you guys, it's not even just for you. You gave it as gifts, and so many moms to be. It's such a fun necklace, but it's really fun to layer. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in. Mommy necklace back in stock. So I would love to hear, what are your top names? What names do you guys love? Do you love any of the names I picked? I hope you guys love my little girl's name. We're going to be announcing that when she's born. So that is everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.